Good morning, it's the Reverend Jendi Burwell. We've come to Wednesday, so a time to stop, reflect, and ponder and pray and hear some scriptures. This morning's going to be a little bit different. We are going to start out by just some silence, a simple prayer, then we will hear from our scriptures for the day. And then we will close with a simple prayer as well, which is actually known as the Alternatives Lord's Prayer. It's in the New Zealand Prayer Book, and it's quite a beautiful part, normally of night prayer. But let's just pause, take a few deep breaths. Remember how we are delightfully and wonderfully created in God's image. We are uniquely gifted, and we are called to follow Christ and to help others do so too. So let's breathe and ready ourselves to hear today's scriptures. The first reading today is from Philippians chapter 2, verses 12 to 18. Therefore, my beloved, just as you have always obeyed me, not only in my presence, but much more now in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who is at work in you, enabling you both to will and work for his good pleasure. Do all things without murmuring and arguing, so that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, in which you shine like stars in the world. It is by your holding fast to the word of life that I can boast on the day of Christ, that I did not run in vain or labor in vain. But even if I am being poured out as libation over the sacrifice and the offering of your faith, I am glad and rejoice with all of you. And in the same way, you also must be glad and rejoice with me. Wonderful words. May we shine like stars in the world. The psalm for today is Psalm 27, verses 1 to 5. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom then shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom then shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though a host encamp against me, my heart shall not be afraid. And though there rise up war against me, yet will I put my trust in him. One thing have I asked of the Lord, and that alone I seek, that I dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the fair beauty of the Lord, and to seek his will in his temple. Gospel reading is from Luke chapter 14, verses 25 to 33. Now large crowds were travelling with Jesus, and he turned to them and said, Whoever comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and even life itself, cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry the cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. For which of you, intending to build a tower, does not first sit down and estimate the cost, to see whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it will begin to ridicule him, saying, "This fellow began to build and was not able to finish." Or, what king going out to wage war against another king will not sit down first and consider whether he is able with 10,000 to oppose the one who comes against him with 20,000? If he cannot, then, while the other is still far away, he sends a delegation and asks for the terms of peace. So therefore none of you can become my disciple if you do not give up all of your possessions. Interestingly, in the time of Jesus and in the time these scriptures were written, a family, a household, followed the way that the father, the man of the household, kind of set the tone. So you didn't change religions or change things. You did what has always been done. And so if you were to suddenly say, I'm actually going to follow the Christ, I'm going to be a follower of, that guy who came and said all that stuff, there really would have been serious consequences: thrown out of houses, disowned from your family, and the church would become the entire family support around you. A massive, massive thing to consider, and yet people flocked to do it. That's how good the good news of Jesus Christ was and is. But there is a price to pay. There is a cost. You can't seek a different way of living, seek a different way of being, a different way of prioritizing things, a different thing, without being prepared to give up some stuff. And that is where this gospel is saying you need to kind of really sit down and think, do I want this? Can I pay the price? Will I actually commit to it? Or will I get halfway through building and then think, it's too hard, I'm not going to see it through? And yet, for someone like myself who discovered my faith in my 30s, it is worth it. It is well and truly worth it to say, who is this fella Jesus? How can I learn more about him and what he said and what he did and how he lived? And how can I join with others to live in such a way, in the way of Jesus? Because even if there is a cross to bear and a price to pay, the good news is very good news indeed. So I invite you, wherever you are, to consider whether the stories and the teachings of Jesus are things that you're willing to learn about, willing to commit some time to learn about, willing to commit some changes in practice so that you can follow those teachings and apply them to your life. It's worth it, but that is up to you. Today we're going to close out this short time of scripture and prayer with the alternative Lord's Prayer. It's on page 181. Eternal Spirit, Earth maker, pain bearer, life giver, source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God in whom is heaven. The hallowing of your name echo through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the world. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and test, strengthen us. From trials too great to endure, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen. Wherever you find yourself this morning, round about morning tea time on Wednesday, know that you are loved. Know that you are priceless. And until we see you again, God bless.